No. If you give a false expectation that season 3 was as good as the first two, then too late. It already happened.
Is it safe to say season 4 might be coming?
Fingers crossed. We haven't got any solid news as of yet.
So, will we even have a Heartstoppers season 4? It does seem like it's going to be kite the coin flipped, and let me get into a little bit why. So first of all, what is the doubt? The doubt is the lead doesn't even know. One of the leads doesn't even know if they're even coming back for a season 4, and even if they do, the creator of the show said that will be the end. So if we get to season 4, that will be the end. And that's basically, she still said like, oh, fingers crossed we'll get to the end. So she doesn't know if we're gonna get to the end either. And this season 3 might have killed it. Alright, so I'm gonna do this very gently and very carefully. Season 3 wasn't good. Hey, before you start flaming me in the comment section, let me at least give you some reasons. I'm not saying that it was atrocious. I did think the first 2 episodes of season 3, what happened there? It was just like nothing. It was like a 4 out of 10. Again, before you fire with your flamethrowers right at my gullet, just wait. So let's look at some evidence that I have for this. Even though the ratings are very high. So I want to divide this into 2 parts. The statistics and my personal feelings. Because if I say my personal feelings, that's just my opinion. It doesn't mean that it's the truth or majority of opinion. But the statistics backed with my personal feelings help give it a little bit more credit, I'd hope. So let's start with my personal feelings. The beginning wasn't good. Like, I was like so excited. It's like, oh yes, we're back. The gay stuff. You know, my channel's all about the gay stuff. Can't get enough of the gay stuff. And I was like, first episode, okay, you know, we can't start strong every episode. Maybe it's still lean over from the second season. You're still feeling that excitement. Like literally in episode 2, I was like on my phone at some point, and I didn't even realize that I was just distracted. And it's like, it's not keeping my attention. It's not doing the same things that season 1 did, and to a smaller extent season 2, because it's been in a slight decline since season 1. Like, let's be honest. You can't tell me that season 1 wasn't the best season. But regardless, continuing forward, we get to like episode 3 and 4, and then some stuff starts to happen, but you're not really feeling like it's not enough to pull it back up. If it's falling like this, and then episodes 3 and 4 do like this, is that really a big jump? You felt so much, and it's like you just recovered a little bit. That doesn't help me. If you go from a 4 to a 6, is that really good? I mean, it's okay, but continuing forward. When you get to the back half of the show, okay, fine. We get to at least season 2 level. But it's like, you started so weak, and then you made it to the back half of the show, and then you kind of get good again, where it's like season 2 level. And that's just season 2 level. Season 2 level is still a drop from season 1. But let's kind of match it up to the statistics, shall we? So let's do a season by season comparison, comparing the same show with itself. Season 2 started off in its first week with 6 million views. Season 3, on the other hand, started off its first week with 4 million views. Now, I know you're gonna be in the comments, but the recording of the day 2 is only like 3 or 4 days out in the week, and there were maybe a hurricane in some parts of the world, and like, that's 2 million. Okay, let's just add 500,000, just to be generous. Hell, let's add 1 million. It would still be a drop of 1 million if it was at 5 million to 6 million, so that's 1 million drop. That's not a small number. Like, and that's not the number. It's 4 million to 6 million. We're just giving 1 million because perhaps, since it wasn't like a full week that they recorded even though they said it was, you probably get more viewerships, and maybe some disaster like hurricane, some areas, big population centers were being targeted. Just because I'm covering all my bases here. 1 million extra, that's very generous. So just riddle me this. If you were Netflix and you were looking at the show and you say, ooh, viewership drop, do we want to invest another like couple $1 million into another season of this show with the trend going downward? It's like, you have to think about it from a business perspective. Netflix only cares about one thing, money. So, if the trend is down, let's just assume that season 4 might gain in the first week 3.5 million. We're being generous here again because that's not the trend. But I'm just giving you a high estimate so you can understand. Would that 3.5 million be justifiable to put in however many millions of dollars they're gonna put into filming season 4. Maybe. Maybe they're like, okay, so there's still a profit margin to be made here, and we don't want to let go of this idea quite yet. And then there you go, you get your season 4 and you get your end. However, you're cutting it by the skin of your teeth right now, because it's like, let's just talk about it a little bit. The reason I have a problem with the beginning is because you lose a lot of the magic. It's not because they added darker themes. It is fine, but you can't lie to me and tell me that Tao and Ellie's relationship in the season was much more interesting than Charlie and Nick's. And when you've cornered the centerpiece under Charlie and Nick's relationship, and you have Tao and Ellie being more interesting and happening, and that's the most interesting thing happening. Also, can we talk about Isaac's character? Literally, he's so annoying now.
Pitchforks! Can't be an angry mob without pitchforks!
Now before you come with the pitchforks, at least let me explain. In the other seasons, he had this asexual character. It was all nice and all, and it kind of gave you this thing of like understanding him, because this show is about all queer experiences, as they say. But he's just annoying now. Like, I'm sorry, like maybe I'm a hater.
Cotton candy! Get your cotton candy! Can't throw right that cotton candy!
But like, when he's like, yeah, you're rubbing my relationships in my face, can you just get away from me? And it's like, yeah, you know, you don't have to have a relationship to be happy. And it's like, those are all true things, but it's like, oh, you know, but you guys all have your relationships and I don't have one, so why don't you just give me more time? So, here's the thing, sometimes shows, when they have characters like this where they're trying to show you their pain and have you relate to them, they just become so combative and snappish to their friends, and it's like, it's not that it's not justified all the time, it's just that he just seems like a bitter person now, where it's like one of those friends that is like always angry. Like, I got the whole point, and I get, okay, if you want to make the comparison, it's because he's not one for relationships and he feels like friends complete his life.
It's the best friends forever! Best friends forever! Ring!
And he's not getting that from his friends. That's fair, but at the same time, if all those friends are in relationships and you're the only one not in a relationship usually prioritizes their partners. Now, of course, obviously, in the show, they had overbearing relationships.
Standing together.
Like with Tao and Ellie, where they were all over each other and didn't even give their friends the time of day. I'm not saying that's correct. What I'm saying is that there's an implication that he feels that he needs to be prioritized over the relationships. You can say I'm wrong, but that's the vibe that he's giving low-key, where he's like criticizing constantly the other's relationships no matter what they do, when they're lovey-dovey, when they're with each other. It's just like criticism, 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 and it just means it's like an indication of you not being happy. Maybe that's the point. I don't know. It just rubbed off as annoying to me. Also, I'm gonna say this in the nicest way possible and not get cancelled. You're welcome. I don't know why they made Darcy non-binary. It's literally not in the comics, it's not canon. They're literally, and I understand, this is a show of queer joy, where you show multiple queer experiences and like the joyous aspects of it or whatever. But they're literally doing the checkbox thing, where it's like, we need to have one of each. A non-binary, a trans, a gay, a bisexual, I don't even know, straight. Even token straight. Like, they're literally trying to check off every box. And it's like, it felt so unnatural to me. It just felt like that they were just doing it just to have more diversity. It's already diverse, buddy. It can't, I mean, I guess it literally can get more diverse, but it's Heartstoppers. Did you see the cast? You don't need more diversity, especially when it's unnaturally. So it's just like you're just putting it in there. I don't even know. It just felt like it was something they tried to sneak in underneath. And it was like, just quotas. And like I mentioned before, what's the quota? Because you already have the diversity cast of possibility. Or at least, I thought so. So, as mentioned before, since it's not supposed to be a fully negative video, the end did wrap up nicer. I did feel like it was closer to the level of season 2. It even had a little bit of that spark of season 1, but it took way too long. People don't have the attention span to sit through like 6 episodes before it feels like they're getting into something. This isn't like the old days where you'd watch One Piece and it's like, oh my gosh, it gets better after episode 173.5 or something like that. 3 episodes, I think, is like a good indicator to get someone hooked for a show, and I don't think like the hook in the 3rd episode was okay. It just wasn't strong enough and shows in the viewership. If you think I'm wrong, why are the viewers going down? And I list to you the justifications. Added 1 million to that viewership. So I just want this to be wrapped up nicely, and I feel like the potential is so much more. Can you blame a guy? And honestly, if you're more interested in the more actor-specific things about like these types of shows, then you need to check out my video on Nicholas Gatlett's scene, because he really made his career by kind of going gay for fame. He kind of just made his career going gay for fame. And you can kind of check out how he did that like right here.